Morning guys, and welcome back to the channel. I have just received another bargain Seiko chronograph from Chrono24. I bought this watch new from Chrono24. It cost me £125 plus import taxes. We often complain that Seiko watches are far too expensive and don't often represent good value for money, but on this channel I'm trying to highlight some Seiko watches that I still think represent incredible value for money. This is a solar-powered chronograph with an alarm. Instead of the 24-hour subdial, you get an alarm on this watch. It has the V172 quartz movement inside it. Are you ready to take a look at this thing for the very first time? Here we go. I say the very first time. I don't think there have been any reviews of this watch on YouTube. So not only is this the first time I'm seeing it, but I think it's the first time this watch is being shown on YouTube. And it's not a new watch. It's been out for a couple of years, and there it is. I was drawn to its sort of vintage retro styling. That tachymeter around the outside of the case is quite vintage looking, and it looks a little bit like some more expensive Seiko watches that have been released fairly recently. You can see the subdials there, the minutes for the chronograph at the 12, the alarm at the 6, and the, it should be running seconds hand at the 9 o'clock. But because this is a solar watch, and because this is the first time the lid has probably been lifted in months and months, it looks like it's run out of power. So let me charge it up for a little while, and I'll be back shortly. Well, it sat outside for 10 minutes in the British sun. It's a very overcast day, so I'm surprised it only took 10 minutes, but the watch is now working. You can see that running seconds hand at the 9 o'clock, working away. And if you start the stopwatch, you stop it and you reset it. It's working. The only thing that isn't working at the moment is the alarm, because it does say in the instructions that when the watch is low on charge, the alarm is disengaged. Although you can test the alarm by pulling the crown out to the first position and holding on to the button at the 2 o'clock. Can you hear that? Let me bring it a bit closer. So I'm happy that the watch is working. You just can't use the one-time alarm function until the watch has a bit more charge in it. And it's really easy to use this alarm. You pull the crown out to the first position, and then you set the subdial at the 6 o'clock to your desired time. And then, the next time the hands on the main dial reach or match the hands on the alarm subdial, the alarm will ring for 20 seconds. Now, it will only work once. The following day it won't actually work. You need to essentially engage the alarm again by pulling the crown out to the first position and either leaving the alarm as it is or changing the alarm. But that's not why I bought this watch, although I am interested in experiencing different Seiko movements, and this is the first time I've had a watch with the V172 in it. I bought this watch because I thought it was quite interesting looking, really good looking actually. I like the sort of copper coloured brown tachymeter insert around the outside of the watch, and that sort of coffee coloured, I guess it's brown dial. And the solar elements on the watch are actually in the subdials, and they are quite obvious, unfortunately. More obvious than I was hoping. Outside and even in this light box, look, you can see that sort of purple hue to the subdials. It doesn't ruin the way this thing looks. I just think it would look a little bit better if the solar cells weren't quite as obvious, but the rest of the dial is really nice. You've got those applied indices running around the outside of the dial with a sort of brown circular brushed ring, and then some pin stripes running down the rest of the dial. Its color theme is the word I'm looking for. Is nice, isn't it? I think it goes nicely with the stainless steel case. I'm not convinced by the strap though. A faux croc print leather strap. It is a Seiko branded strap. You've got Seiko on the strap and Seiko on the buckle. It feels quite stiff. I'm sure it'll loosen up. But yeah, Seiko straps or leather straps on there. Affordable watches aren't known to be the best, are they? Although there is a nice bit of contrasting stitching on this one. It's not the worst strap I've seen on an affordable Seiko. But yeah, it's not great, is it? There is some loom on it, but before I show you the loom, let's just run through some more basic specifications. Screw down case back, a pull-push crown, 100 meters of water resistance. It looks like an aluminium bezel insert. It's not sapphire. That will be a piece of mineral or hardlex, as Seiko calls it. Hardlex crystal, leather strap, stainless steel buckle, stainless steel case. Yeah, and I've already been through the subdials, although you do have a date complication at the 3 o'clock, and it sits a little bit deep, although it seems to be nicely framed. Well, the initial loom burst seems pretty good, doesn't it? The loom on the hands seems fairly strong, so let's let that run down for 5 minutes now and see how much the loom degrades. Right, that has been 5 minutes, and yeah, the loom has degraded quite a bit, so that's not great, is it? And here it is then on my roughly average 7¼ inch-ish wrist on the supplied strap, which did not want to conform to my wrist straight out the box, so I've had to have a little fiddle with it, roll it between my thumbs, just to get it to bend around my wrist, basically. So yeah, if I was to wear this one regularly, I would be wearing it on an alternative strap, 100%. But yeah, from the top down, looks good. It is a little bit deeper and sits a little bit higher on my wrist than I was anticipating or expecting. Yeah, that surprised me, actually. It doesn't ruin the overall look of the watch, but yeah, it's not going to slide under a cuff as easily as you might want. Yeah, that is a surprise. Look at it. But there you go. It is a beautiful watch still, from the top down anyway. No water resistance test today, I'm afraid. Herman has taken the day off. So yeah, I'm just about to wrap it up, guys. I hope you enjoyed this look at another very affordable Seiko chronograph. You can pick these up from all sorts of places, actually. Jomashop, Chrono24, eBay. They're not likely to be watches that you're going to be able to buy from your local jewelers or watch sellers. I suspect you'll have to import it, so don't forget to factor into your calculations or your costs some import taxes. I had some to pay when I imported this, £125. I had roughly 20% to pay, so it's cost me around £150 for this watch. So yeah, I still think that represents pretty decent value for money, especially when you compare this watch to other Seiko watches with similar specifications that you'll buy on the high street, certainly in the UK anyway. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. As always, a massive thank you from me to you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Let me know what you think of the watch in the comments section, and you'll see me again very, very soon.